It has been and always will be about character. Welcome to my channel. My name is Mark Neese. I'm a psychotherapist who loves hiking, backpacking. I have a background as a personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach, holistic food consultant, a lot of different certifications. So I've got a little bit to say both about mental health and physical health. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that we chase after. Notoriety, fame, fortune, and we forget really what's the most important part of our happiness and well-being in this world. That is our character. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how to be a real content creator. You know, we hear a lot about content creating, being an influencer, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff that I've picked up these last few weeks while I've prepared to write a blog on the very same subject. So stay with me. Important topic, your character. The wind has kind of died down a little bit in this hollow, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's just 360 degree, surrounded by hills, gorgeous. I'm doing a blog entitled something like "How to Be a Real Content Creator," and my idea was I would focus on people's character. And the phrase that came to my mind, and I use this very respectfully, from Dr. Martin Luther King in his I Have a Dream speech. And he spoke of content of character. That speech has been misused to, in some ways, give some people permission to be racist. And I think this speech was a speech against racism. That's for another day, though, to talk about. But I want to talk about content of character. Dr. King and I have ever so slightly a little bit of in common. He is a seminary graduate, as I am, and a Baptist minister, as I was, for about 5 years. And that's where the comparison ends. He's a giant, and I'm not a giant. I'm a social worker, and I certainly am a social advocate and advocate for social change through my company, through my personal life. But Dr. King spoke of content of character, and that's what Baptist ministers, good Baptist ministers, do. We don't focus on politics and all the other mediocrity that has happened. I wrote a blog a while back on don't monetize your life, and I use the example of monetizing churches and what happens. They become mediocre, but focusing on character. And so what do we focus on when we focus on content of character? And I, again, go to a list of character traits. And I think that's what Dr. King was talking about, character traits. And there's an example of a list in Galatians chapter 5. Again, those of you who are not Christians, I'm not a Christian. I'm just using this as an easy example of things to talk about when it comes to character. And the Apostle Paul, spoke of the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. And those are the things I'm going to talk about ever so briefly. This is not going to be a sermon. I'm just going to highlight these things. You can pick whichever one you want to work on over these next 12 months. I'll pick the ones that I think are important, that I'm weak on. Work on the content of my character, be a real content creator. So join me, and let's just kick these things around a little bit and see what we might generate here. I want to talk, I think, take all of these character traits, just talk about them in a brief segment. Again, there are Baptist preachers that spend a week on each one of them, and rightly so. Rightly so. Other pastors as well, of course, but a good pastor is going to talk about content and character. But if you look at these character traits or fruit of the Spirit, they are behaviors, they're actions, there's things that you do in the context of relationships. We love people. These are not feelings or emotions. When you think of joy and peace, you bring joy to people's lives. You bring peace in whatever situation you're in. I think of something my mother used to say about me, and Jesus, what a wonderful thing to say to your son, that I was a joy to raise. And that's what that's all about, joy. Patience, we're patient with people. We're kind with people. We forgive them. We let them be human. We let them make mistakes. Maybe we have to forgive them, but that's a part of being kind. Gentleness, being a gentle person. Being an easy does it person. Being the kind of person that doesn't come in gangbusters. And I think gentleness really has a lot to do with allowing people to grow and to mature the way that that's important for them. And I think gentleness in this sense is not trying to manage other people. Gentleness means being okay when people don't agree with us or have the same opinions that we have. Goodness, we promote, we love it when people do well. We love it when people grow. Goodness is about seeing the good in people. It means despite all of people's imperfections, we see the goodness in them. Faithfulness is that sense that I am yours and you are mine. I get it. Love cannot be unconditional. If somebody told you that, they're wrong. You cannot love people at any cost. There is a point where people can do things that violate you and abuse you, and you need to walk away from those relationships. It's not unconditional. It's always conditional. But at the same time, there is a certain sense of faithfulness that we have. I don't want people talking about my wife in negative terms, or my sons, or the people that I love. I'm faithful to them. I'll listen, but I'm not gonna take their side against those that I love and those that I care about. There is a fidelity and a faithfulness that I have with them. And they know that. I hope they know that. And self-control, Um, it's a matter of controlling our temper, controlling our whims, controlling our impulses, especially as it relates to people. This is content of character. Every bit of it is content of character. We need that in this world more than ever. Kind of wobbling here. I've done a couple of hills on this hike. I love it. Here's one. I'll show it to you. We got to go. Let's see. There's the trail that goes up there, and then it goes up to the top here. It's not. There it is. It's not like outrageous, but there's a couple that are much more difficult on this trail, but I love them because they make me a better person. And that's what life does. Life should be making you a better person and strengthening the content of your character. All right, well, I'm going to stop and I'm going to walk this hill. Stay with me. I think if you asked me what the scourge of our country is, but let me ask you, what do you think the scourge of our country is? I remember many years ago, I was riding my bicycle from Mount Vernon up to DC on the Vernon Trail. Went through Alexandria, stopped. There was a gentleman there who had immigrated from Eastern Europe. He was putting together a glass harp, and just got to talking to him and talking about my sons. And he said, well, what do they do? And I said, well, at the time they were both working at a casino in Colorado. And he said, that's the scourge of our country. And he went on to tell the story about how his father lost everything from gambling, and it's a scourge. I agree. Maybe there's other scourges. I've said that one of the scourges of our country is obesity, childhood obesity. I wrote a blog on it, so you might read that. Let me show you this real quick on this trail. I don't know how this vehicle got here. It used to be, when I first started hiking this trail many 30 years ago, this thing was actually a vehicle that had been, you could see the cab and everything, but over the years, you can see what rain and the environment does. There's the back axle. So, but I think one of the scourges of our country is bigotry. And I think we are experiencing more bigotry now than we ever have in our country's history. I've got a book, and I'm going to share it maybe in one of my blogs about the history of our country's bigotry. It's out of print. Bought it from a library that was just selling it. But I think that this content of our character is the way that we combat bigotry. If we love people, maybe this is all about the golden rule: treat people the way we want to be treated. But I think it's even more. So if we want to combat the bigotry in our country and in our families and friends and communities, it has to be through the content of our character and not through ideology. I think people who have camped on ideology have neglected content of character. So give it some thought. That's all I really have to say about this particular topic. Be a real content creator. and start focusing on some of these behaviors and some of these actions, things that we can do in the lives of other people. So take care and happy trails.